Ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is in panic because Kenyans are planning to occupy parliament tomorrow over finance bill.
Wakenya, tuamke kupigania nchi yetu.
Let me tell you, we are waiting for these members of parliament wapitishe your bill waone. Mukijaribu kupitisha your bill, we are not going to consider anyone. We are going to start from even the head of the state.
The kind of anger we have caused in this country, I dread, God forbid, is the kind of anger that made the citizens of Burkina Faso to burn down parliament. And when the president of Burkina Faso, that was 3 years ago, I'm not talking about prehistory. When the president of Burkina Faso heard the parliament is in flames, he fled. His name is Blaise Compaoré. And that's how he was voted out of office, by fire. Mr. Speaker, history is replete with strong generals and powerful kings and monarchs who have been brought down by the power of the people. And Mr. Speaker, today I want to remind them of a man called Belshazzar, a man who God favored to be king in the book of Daniel. Instead of being grateful that God has honored you among so many millions of citizens to be their leader, he entertained a government that was so divisive, so oppressive. And he did a big party and called all the important men whose fathers and mothers were important people at that time. And the Bible says he made a feast. And he entertained them in that feast, and even went on to commit sacrilege by using the utensils that had been taken from the temple to commit and drink the drink of fornication using the vessels taken from the temple. Mr. Speaker, as they were enjoying, as they were making merry, as the deep state was celebrating, as the system was celebrating, suddenly, and I say suddenly, there is going to be a war in this country.
And I want to take this opportunity to offer my unsolicited advice to Rigathi Gachagua. Riggy, the truthful man, this is your moment to shine. William Ruto opposed the Building Bridges Initiative process. That Building Bridges Initiative process was being pushed by Uhuru Kenyatta. During that time, Uhuru Kenyatta was the president of the Republic of Kenya. William Ruto was the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Riggy, that Building Bridges Initiative process is what propelled William Ruto, is what made majority of Kenyans to have faith in William Ruto. This finance bill is very unpopular, Mr. Riggy. Opposite.
Jina langu ni Senator Mwagi wa Legwi. Na mimi nauliza Bwana Gachagua, kama uko pande yetu, kwa nini usiseme hii finance bill ni baya? Unaogopa nini? Tumeikataa, hatutaki kitu. Itakuja kuharibu sisi. Finance bill haitusaidii. Hata wachana na hii unasema hii one vote hii. Mimi nataka useme finance bill si mzuri, itatukandamiza. Kwisha.
And for those who have been following William Ruto, he really wants the finance bill to go through. So William Ruto came back into the country yesterday. I honestly don't know from where. Because the last time I remember seeing William Ruto and the Pope, their photos. So I was assuming William Ruto was still in Italy. But I'm reading that William Ruto actually came back from Switzerland. And immediately William Ruto landed, he convened a meeting with the security apparatus. And they've agreed that any protest will be thwarted. The second thing he did is to convene Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting, which will take place tomorrow. So in this video, I want us to look at that parliamentary group meeting where William Ruto has convened it. But before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, let us occupy Parliament. The finance bill is a very bad bill. That is the honest truth. We all understand that Kenyan government needs taxes to run. But of course, just like Boni Alwale explained, if you need to do certain things within 3 years, why then don't you just delay them? Because Kenya is not running away.
According to the Constitution of Kenya, the responsibility ya kupitisha, ya kufanyia amendment ya finance bill haiko katika mikono ya Senate, iko katika mikono ya National Assembly. The proposals that are being made for purpose of amending the finance bill, members of the National Assembly must listen to it. This country is not going away. If you wanted to build a project in a period of 3 years and it is forcing you to tax mwananchi more, there's nothing wrong in you spreading it out. You build the project in 5 years so that you tax mwananchi less. I'm confident that next week Parliament will unlock this. In fact, I'm going to be glued on TV. I see how Fred Ikana will vote. I want to see how Shinali will speak. I want to see Ersi. If Ersi Muhanda is truly who she says she is, she should now live beyond politics of skirts, wearing skirts and being fit in skirts. Now she moves into politics of analytical thinking. I'm waiting to see that Peter Salasia will move out of TikTok and push the agenda of the people. I'm waiting to see that Nabulindo, MP for Matungu, who worked in Parliament for many years before he became an MP, will take advantage of having been a senior officer in Parliament to do the right thing. I'm waiting to see Aseka Miradi, who I hear has some training in accounts, to emerge, and we see him. And so do I expect of Dindi Mwale. So do I expect of this guy from Likwani, Mheshimiwa Mugabe. We want to see whether Mugabe has now moved out of the little officer he was in the county government of Mombasa to now a national leader. We want to, this is what we are waiting for.
And of course, let me just, as part of my solidarity with the protesters, because tomorrow I'll be in Kisumu, let me just play for you these clips before I explain to you guys why William Ruto convened that Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting. Watch very shortly.
The Kenyan parliament has been compromised. The Kenyan parliament has been bought. The Kenyan parliament no longer represents the people. The Kenyan parliament is part of the executive and is controlled by the executive. And Kenyans must now represent themselves. And I want to remind our members of parliament that there are only 300 and Kenyans are 55 million. And we are going to take charge and represent ourselves constitutionally very soon. The problems that Kenyans are facing was brought upon us by the Kenyan parliament. They met, they gathered, they discussed and asked a question. Should we raise the standard of living or should we lower it? And they decided in broad daylight that they should raise the cost of living. And they voted yes. 176 MPs went against the will and the voice of the Kenyan people. And I want to remind them that we will remember.
Yeah, so what are you holding now?
I'm holding placard flyers inviting people to come and protest the finance bill tomorrow outside Parliament. Tomorrow. We are protesting against increased taxation.
And we are not activists.
We are not activists, by the way. We are just concerned Kenyans. Listen, I am not an activist.
You can start with your name.
My name is Shadrach.
Yeah.
I am a finance professional.
Yes.
I am not an activist. But this government has forced me to walk out on the streets and tell people, come and fight for your rights. Tomorrow, they are going to pass that finance bill, whether we like it or not. They
It's
are
going to hurt us all.
Those MPs. My friend, mkate zaidi 60 bob.
It's a problem for us all.
Mkate yako itakuwa na 70 shillings.
Mkate yetu ilikuwa 20 bob. You can
Mimi mkate na 20 shillings.
Yeah.
They are going to increase women taxes on parts.
Women cannot even protect themselves.
Uber, my friend, an Uber driver, but your gari yako ni 7,500. There's something called the eco levy. It is about to shoot up the price of a car battery to 18,000. Who can afford that? They are about to buy the SHIF, insurance. They are about to pass so many new taxes, you are going to cry. 12 p.m. Come and join us outside Parliament. Okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I reveal to you guys why William Ruto has convened that urgent parliamentary group meeting, I want to know the name of your member of parliament. I come from Nyakach. My village member of parliament is Honorable Aduma Owor. I spoke to Aduma Owor, and Aduma Owor assured me that for him is going to be loud and is going to vote no to this finance bill. I don't know the name of your constituency. Of course, my other member of parliament, the one I voted for, is Dr. Joshua Oron, Kisumu Central, because he is where I stay. I've actually talked to Oron also, and he has also assured me that he's also going to vote no. I don't know your member of parliament. If you have their numbers, make sure you send them a message to vote no. If you can't do that, just type the name of that member of parliament in the comment section and ask him to vote no to that bill. Let your voice be heard. So the question is, why do you think William Ruto came back into the country? And the first thing he did was to convene Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting. Number one, William Ruto wants to force Rigathi Gachagua to support that finance bill publicly. Because he believes by doing that, the allies of Rigathi Gachagua who are threatening to vote no will heed to Rigathi Gachagua's call. Remember, ODM party has already made its stand known that for them, all their members of parliament are expected to vote no to that bill. So anybody, any member of ODM party who will vote yes will actually go against the party. You remember Edwin Sifuna, when he attended the burial of the mother to Tom Ojianda, he was very clear that he used his hand to physically sign 86 letters to members of parliament, asking them to vote no and preventing them from leaving the country. Because normally, what they do, they normally find an excuse of leaving. Tomorrow, we will be witnessing a lot of drama. Most members of parliament will actually be in the toilet. Most of them will be locked out during the voting, so as just to avoid voting. So William Ruto wants to force Rigathi Gachagua. I don't know whether Rigathi Gachagua will heed to his call, but if our Rigathi Gachagua, just like he refused to go and receive him from the airport, he should repeat the same. Number two, members of parliament are going to be bribed tomorrow. They are going to be bribed at Statehouse to vote for that bill. Because if William Ruto was serious, then he should have let members of parliament to go and represent their people. The other day, I watched in dismay as the member of parliament for Bondo, Ochanda Gideon, explaining why he's going to vote yes. On behalf of who? When almost all his constituents are against the bill. Then who is he going to represent? Because William Ruto, as long as this bill will pass, he will get the legitimacy. And of course, the thinking in William Ruto is always very clear. William Ruto believes that he will use money to buy members of parliament, and he will also use money to buy voters. But what about these members of parliament? And that's why you will always hear William Ruto telling them, you don't need to be popular now. Right now, just vote. We will help you. This time, it's not going to be business as usual. And lastly, William Ruto is also keen on identifying those Kenya Kwanza MPs who are against him. That's what he wants to do. He also wants to know the ODM MPs who are working with him, especially the rebel MPs who are saying no. So that moving forward, he will know whether to give them the allowance which he has been giving them or not. But let us wait and see how this voting is going to happen. But it's my hope and prayer that even William Ruto himself will find it in order to just call all their members of parliament to vote no to this bill so that it can be reviewed. They are talking of amendments. Those amendments are not going to affect the entire bill. William Ruto should just stick with the current bill, which is already affecting Kenyans in a very big way, and raise money. Kenyans cannot eat roads. You can't force Kenyans. You can't overtax Kenyans in the name of building for them roads. No. Those roads, instead of taking 2 years to build, take 10 years. Instead of taking 1 year to build how many number units of houses, just spread them. Give Kenyans some breathing space. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Bye-bye.